Now, if you ever do this to your money, by the way, never forgive yourself, because these are the 10 worst things that you can ever do to your money. And by the way, some of these things you actually do them without you knowing. All right. So, by the way, this is the video that you ought to watch it up to the end so that you get the maximum information. All right. Let's get into the business. But before we do that, by the way, let me just remind you, I'm sharing this information with you for free. I'm not going to charge you even a single shilling. Okay, the only thing that I want or I'll need or I'm requesting from you as a favor is to subscribe to this channel. And I know you are saying, okay, what if I just ignore and watch the video? What will be the repercussions? Hey, guess what? Once you subscribe, you get to be notified whenever I upload a new good video. And by the way, like the video and let's get to the business. Okay, now point number 1, these are 10 things that you can never do and they are considered worst to your money, and if you do them, never forgive yourself when it comes to money. Point number 1, idolizing your money. What I mean by this, not the other idol. No, I don't mean like the other idol one. Not like IDOL or something. I mean IDLE. Okay, idolizing, meaning you have money that is idle. The money is just resting there, looking at you. And by the way, guess what happens once you have the money that is idle, meaning undedicated money? It means that you're gonna utilize your money and use it for anything that comes with the cross. By the way, there's someone who said like, if you aim at nothing, you always hit the target. Can you imagine that? So if you have money that is not even dedicated to anywhere, the money is just out there, resting in a bank, doing nothing, unless you're maybe accumulating that money to start a business, that's no problem. That is not considered as an idle money. Let's say you're saving your money, that's not idle. But you're just having money, let's say in your M-Pesa doing nothing, the money is not for accumulation purposes, just there, just doing nothing, okay? That's very bad. You're not supposed to do that. What you're supposed to do, either be on a mission of accumulating that money to reach a certain target so that you can do something, or you can take that money. If you don't really have a substantive target, you can take that money and start investing in different areas like MMF, shares, treasury bills, bonds, common businesses, and all those kind of things. All right, let's get into that second one. The second one is about buying the fit-in package. Do you know what is a fit-in package? The fit-in package is this situation whereby you have some friends, and let's say you guys earn like 70,000 at the end of the month, and maybe some of your friends earn the same amount of money or more than you. And then here you are. Maybe you guys usually go for a weekend and take a drink, maybe worth like 10,000. All right. So now that's a fit-in package. What does it mean? It means that for you to be with those friends, if you don't want to lose them, you want to accommodate them, you want to be with them at all the time, okay? Because you consider them as your buddies and what have you. Then you buy that fit-in package. It's the worst thing that you can ever do in your life. Okay, now as far as the money is concerned, now the point is this. See, you can be having those friends that you're getting to fit in, but you're benefiting monetarily from it. That's a different case. All right, I did not say now you switch off from your friends and start going alone and all those. No. I mean, like, if you're trying to do some things that you do not really need them, just because you feel like, hey, if I stop doing this, I'm gonna lose my mind. By the way, let me just give you a very simple example. I received a call from a client of mine, and she told me, hey Joseph, can't imagine, I usually earn a very good amount of money, close to 300 G's, okay, a month. But the problem is this: I actually have some friends of mine who have high appetite as far as the spending is concerned. We ought to go to the outing, take our drinks, and do all those kind of things. You see, to a point we even dedicate to among ourselves where we should live and all those kind of things. See, when you realize that the external factors are the one that are driving you to using your money, hey, you're heading on the wrong direction. Okay, now let's go to the point number 3: is funding your emotions big times. See, by the way, most of the people fall under this category. What does it mean? See, the moment you get your money, instead of engaging your brain, you engage your heart. Let me give a simple example. Have you ever been in a situation whereby, and by the way, this is the second, I'm making this video on the 3rd of December. Now, the point is this, have you ever been in a situation whereby you guys have been paid and then you feel like, hey, my goodness, I love my job. It's so nice, so amazing. Wow, I'm going to do this job for the next like 4 years and then I'm going to be financially free and all those. See, you love your job whenever you get paid. But let's say at the 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 22, you feel like, ow, this job is really, I've been working for the last 3 years. I haven't done anything. I'm so tired. And by the way, guess what? Once I get this salary, I'm going to buy myself a very good thing. I'm going to take myself, I'm going to go somewhere, relax, take a very soft, quiet, and, cold drink and what have you. I'm going to go outing. I'm going to have a road drive. Have you ever been in such a situation whereby you feel like the emotions ought to be served? Emotions ought to be served because you are attaching feelings to your money. And most likely, the moment you attach your feelings to your money, you're likely to make a very, very, very wrong decision. By the way, if you have ever had somebody saying life is short, life is for the living, you only live once, By the way, those are guys who are justifying the occasions. Either they have already messed up or they are about to mess up. Listen carefully to those guys. Okay, now that graduates us to the point number 4, which means funding trends and fashions. iPhone 15 Pro Max is out. There you are with it. Hey, there's something. There you are with it. Everything, clothing, whatever, social life, everything and anything. You're competing with external things. Let me tell you one thing. If the power inside of you is way less than what is compelling you from the external, then I'm telling you, you're really not stable, not only financially, but emotionally. Remember one thing. Poverty, before it is reflected in our pockets, has already been manufactured in our heads way before. Some of the characters that we can be able to, or some of the characters that we usually do in our lives, actually, there's the summation of, it's like, we call it the snowball effect. You know, those small characters that you incorporate inside of yourself, and then with time, then you realize you've messed up your life, okay? The point is this: you are not supposed to actually gauge yourself on the basis of what? Funding your trends and emotions. You see, in most cases you find, like, some people who usually suffer from what we call the inferiority complex, they tend to buy external things to associate themselves with them, so that at least when people see them with them, do I make sense? When people see them with them, it's like saying, hey, you have a problem and then you want to buy yourself like a Louis Vuitton thing. It's an amazing company. But if you want to buy them just because you want to prove to people like, hey, guess what, guys, I'm doing okay. See, if you actually buy a compliment from you associating yourself with those big brands, I'm telling you, you got a problem. Then you ought to actually go ahead and buy things according to the things. There's no problem buying fashions, but there's a problem with you buying them and chasing them according to the trends. You're supposed to say, hey, guess what? I do have some money that I can be able to buy because I've actually dedicated this amount of money towards doing exactly that. That is exactly how you're supposed to do it, not just grabbing the thing just because you can afford. Okay, now the point number 5, we are the halfway now. Okay, congratulations for reaching this point. And by the way, you're wondering, hey Joseph, is there in any way that I can be able to reach you and maybe have a conversation with B? Oh yes, there is. My number is always on the description of this specific video. Hey, by the way, just below the subscribers and whatever, there is somewhere written more. Just click that more, and then you'll be able to get my number out there, right? Get that number, shoot me a call. By the way, for those services, obviously, it's a cup of coffee price. Let's get to the point. Number 5, the proving you wealthy. Guess what? That is called cost of showing off. Have you ever met some guys who really try the much as they can to prove to you that they're actually getting some money? They are rich, they are wealthy, they're doing well in life. Whenever they buy a car, they ought to floss it on the social media. Whenever they buy themselves a good house, they have to show it. Whenever you buy a good clothing, you have to show it. Whenever you like everything yours is on the media. We know everything and anything. I remember one thing, never forget this, okay? That what they know, they attack. But that what they do not know, they talk about it. They would rather talk about it than attack because they do not know. That's the point. The point is this: always and every time, make sure that at least you do not do what? You do not prove. Don't strain. And by the way, for your information, success don't require any strain or strength to actually tell people that they are successful. And by the way, have you ever asked yourself why these ultra wealthy people never try or struggle to prove to people that they have money, but these middle incomers guys, they really struggle and try the best they can to prove to people that they have money? I've never understood, by the way. I've never understood. I do not know what principles they are using, unless maybe they use them flocking or flossing about money, and maybe that's how they make money. Maybe they are content creators or something of sort. But the point is this: I don't see any essence of proving anything and everything out there. You know, you have money, you have to look manly and all those kind of things. I don't subscribe to that kind of a thing. Just remain who you are. And let me tell you one thing. If you are smart, you can tell somebody who has money. I mean, seriously, if you look at the eyes, you can tell. You're trying to play small, but that guy or this guy has money. You can tell that. For those people who knows what exactly I mean. That's a reality. It's like going buying a belt that is worth like 10,000 Kenyan shillings. Just a simple belt. Doesn't even have any logo. But only your fellow wealthy people can tell that belt is worth 1,000 Kenyan shillings or 10,000 Kenyan shillings. But if you put up on thing that, I bet you guys understand what I'm trying to mean. Now, let's go to point number 6, lack of budgeting. By the way, this is the biggest recipe. This is a recipe to failure as far as the money is concerned. And I always tell you, budgeting is the language that money understands. There is no any other language that is out there that money understands way beyond budgeting. Budgeting is actually telling money where to go rather than wondering where to it went. Okay, now the point is this. I ain't gonna stress a lot of much time on this because I've been sharing this information about budgeting like all the time and every time. So the point is this: make sure that at least You have budgeting for your money. I repeat, I know this is a thing that majority of the people hate, especially these people who are called, these people who work in the Juakali industry, the cottage industry, these people who feel like, hey, budgeting's for the people who are employed. And no, even if you get your money per day, you ought to budget for yourself. That's a reality. Budgeting is the ultimate thing that you can. And by the way, budgeting is accommodated, or rather is associated with the discipline and sacrifices and something of sort. Okay. See, when your budgeting is actually instructing your money where to go, right? And that means that if you have a target of getting something in a certain particular period of time, then if you incorporate budgeting, then it's not a question of if, but a when. The point number 7 is putting all of it in a single basket. No, let me tell you one secret, by the way. You aren't supposed to put all your money in one basket, okay? You see, in terms of the investments, that's what I mean. One thing that you're supposed to do is that diversify on your investments, okay? And I always tell people, hey, sometimes you get somebody say, hey, it's my first time I accessed a $500,000, it's my first time I accessed 100,000, 50 or something, or whatever the amount of money. And then you take the whole chunk of money and put it in one area. And then something happens, and then you're like, you not only lost your job, but again you lost your business and you lost your money. You're going back to ground zero. For example, let's take this case scenario. Let's say you love to get yourself into the eateries and drinks joints and what have you, and then another corona kick shows up, and you can just imagine, you can recall what happened in 2021 around there, where all these eateries and the joints were closed because of the COVID-19. At one particular point, a big lesson was learned, because there are some people who were actually, by the way, I have a case scenario of an individual who just opened a bar, a very big bar and restaurant, and that thing came in, and the guy was told, hey, guess what? You cannot open this thing because people are associating here and the disease can actually spread and all those kind of things. So the point is this: it's always good to make sure that you diversify your income. You have some virtual investments, you have tangible investments, you have normal businesses, you have other kind of like 4 or 5 or something of sort. At least you are all over the place. Don't put your eggs in one basket. Never forget those terms. And number 8 is that ignoring the financial literacy. Financial literacy is actually acquiring the knowledge about the use of money, the allocation, the investing, and everything related to exactly that. So it's basically knowing how money works, because a lot of people tend to think like money is a product to be consumed rather than a tool to be used to make more of it. So it's point good to understand that, hey, and by the way, the only situation where you can be able to learn financial literacy is when people are saying things that you don't want to hear. Have you ever been in a situation whereby people are speaking too much truth to a point whereby your brain cells cannot even accommodate it? You know, you feel like every time they're elevating your feelings and emotions, because they're like, why are they like attacking me? So that is the environment to be. Just train as much as you can to accommodate the time in that specific place, because you're likely to learn something. So at all the time, make sure that at least you learn what we call the financial literacy. It is the ultimate thing that can get yourself out of the poverty. By the way, dare get that, and you're gonna tell me something. Number 9, price of not negotiating. By the way, if you didn't know, you have the capacity to negotiate it. You're gonna salvage some money out of yourself. By the way, at all the time, make sure that at least every price that you're given, try as much as you can. You can negotiate. By the way, only if it's applicable. Don't go to the hotel, and not don't go to the 5-star hotels and the supermarkets and you're trying to negotiate. No, the price is there. It's either get it or leave it. That's for sure. Okay. I said where it is applicable. And the last one but not least is using it just because you can. Have you ever seen somebody saying, hey, if you ask them, hey, why are you buying a car? Well, just because I can. Why are you starting a business? Why not? I mean, I can. Never. That is an ignorantic way or point of view. But when you say, hey, I'm doing it just because I can. I've ever met some guys who say, hey, Joseph, I have some money somewhere and I just want to start a business. And ask them, hey, why do you want to start a business? Because I have some money somewhere. Okay, fine. I understand that you have the capacity to start, but then what other justifications? But I have the money. You know, I can just employ any. That's the worst thing you can ever do. Somebody saying, hey, guess what? I just want to start my wife a business. You ask them why. Okay, 2 reasons. 1, I have the money. 2, my wife is idle. What? That does not justify you starting a business. Those are not, enough reasons to start a business. All right. At all the time, make sure that at least you understand why you're starting a business. And by the way, if it's first time watching me, I am Joseph. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. And by the way, I post videos each and every day talking about money, investment, anything related to that. If that's a cup of your coffee, and I bet it should be. I mean, seriously, who hates money? For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.